Hey, this video just covers like the early game of Lobotomy Corporation, so if you want more over a full review, I recommend Pack's video because it is very good. Anyways, enjoy! Warning, the following video contains gameplay spoilers for the following abnormalities. If you're going through LobCorp and wish not to be spoiled, then please click off now. This game is wonderful to go in blind, but don't be afraid to use a wiki if you really need it. Day 1 of Lobotomy Corporation begins with this screen, the pre-day screen. The most notable parts of the screen is the abnormalities in each department, your agents who will directly be researching the abnormalities, and the ego list section, where continued work with abnormalities will actually allow you to get gear based off of them. Let's drag our starter agent over to the control team. I initially thought of giving Olive some ego gear to display how they work early on, but I decided, today's the tutorial day. I don't need to do that. And as we click begin management, the day actually begins. Hold on, slow down a sec. There's a ton of information on the screen. I need to explain things. Before anything else, let me explain your main objective of getting through days. Encaphalin. Your total encaphalin generated can be viewed at the top left, while also the total you need to make is up there too. The way to generate that encaphalin is to work with an abnormality. There are two types of encaphalin produced when working with an abnormality, positive and negative encaphalin. Not only is positive encaphalin the one that's determined for total encaphalin generated, but positive encaphalin also affects the outcome. Basically, green means good, yellow means normal, red means very bad. There's more than meets the eye to the results, but we'll get into that later. Oh, also, before I forget, getting negative encaphalin boxes will do work damage to you. There are 4 types of work damage: red, white, black, and pale. Ego gear will provide specific resistances to different types of damage, meaning that you will have to specialize certain agents for certain abnormalities. However, as one sin in hundreds of good deeds is basically no threat, you do not need the specialization for them. So we send Olive to work. We just sent Olive to do attachment work. Attachment is one of the 4 major types of work that is tied directly to your stats. You can see the effects that Fortitude, Prudence, Temperance, and Justice provide you with. However, your stat numbers can directly affect the outcome of your work. As one sin in hundreds of good deeds is insanely forgiving, we had a very good work result, leading us to get 9 encaphalin boxes with only 1 negative overall. So we send them in again. Our goal is 15 encaphalin boxes, so we have to send them back in. I can't stress this enough, but this is no task, considering that one sin in hundreds of good deeds is not hostile at all. So after this, we should be able to end off the day. And like clockwork, the day ends. We got enough encaphalin. Something you'll notice is that the day doesn't end automatically. You have to click on the workday complete your Why am I sending them to work again? I mean, I understand if to get encaphalin boxes up so we can lock more ego gear, but we already have the masks. We already have all the ego gear and information about this abnormality, so why are we sending them to work again? What the fuck? Why do we keep sending them to work on the abnormality? Okay, surely after this it's done. Okay, sure. Whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. Okay, finally, we can end the day. Wait, what the fuck? Their temperance improved? I was only doing work with Oh my god, work is tied to stats! Work is tied to stats! Now you, dear viewer, might be like, hey, why is it so important? Well, dear viewer, as you can see throughout the day, we mainly did attachment work. And without spending a single lob point, my employee's temperance leveled up, meaning that besides ego gear, there are more benefits to sending agents to work with abnormalities. Tied with the fact that I can end the day whenever I want, this means as long as I have specialized employees and understand the risks that I'm going to take in the future, I can keep training my employees on specific abnormalities to level up their stats to get them even better to work with more abnormalities. It's a wonderful usage of risk assessment also with maintaining benefits to yourself, which is one of Project Moon's most notable game design features in all 3 of their major titles. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, basically just do more purple, get more purple on stats. Smile. On day 2, we're left with a choice of 3 different abnormalities. I already have all these abnormalities unlocked, but you won't immediately see this screen. I decided on the middle one, and I started my day. Before the day officially started, I decided to equip Olive with 1 Sin and Hundreds of Good Deeds ego gear, just so I could take reduced white damage. As both my abnormalities, including 1.76 who we just acquired, deal white damage. I spend lob points leveling up Olive with Justice and Prudence. Justice for better work with 1.76, Prudence so I have more leeway with my SP. Before I work on 1.76 MHz, you might notice the fact that it has a counter up top. Don't worry, we'll get into that. This day runs normally and smoothly as it's one of the starting days, so there's actually not much to note about. Akin to working Prudence or Temperance with 1 Sin and Hundreds of Good Deeds, 1.76 MHz is a good early trainer for your Justice stat, assuming you've leveled up anything into Justice. So, yeah, it was a training day for a new hire. You'll notice as the game goes on, you'll use new hires in weaker abnormalities to level up their stats quicker, but there's actually not much to note about this. I continued with the same loop as I used yesterday, just with one more abnormality. However, we're not done. You see that bar below your total encaphalon? That is called your Quiplov Meltdown meter. It's basically your tracking of stages through the day, where you can see what level you're at, how many abnormalities are going to have a meltdown, and how much you've progressed towards the overall next Quiplov Meltdown due to the nodes you have. You gain nodes for the Quiplov Meltdown every time you start to work on an abnormality. Let's send Olive to do some repression work again. This is what a Quiplov Meltdown does, or at least one of the main functions of it. A Quiplov Meltdown forces you to pay attention to certain abnormalities, and require you to work on them to remove the countdown. So you can't just spam continuous work on one easy abnormality. Sometimes, you might have to work on another, even if you don't want to. As if you don't pay attention to them, 2 different punishments will happen. 1, you get some of your encaphalon removed, and I don't mean personal abno-encaphalon, I mean total encaphalon produced throughout the day. If that's already not bad enough, the second punishment is the abnormality's Quiplov counter will be fully lowered. Yeah, I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of quote-unquote Quiplov values in this game. Trust me, it all makes sense eventually. When an abno's Quiplov counter fully decreases, it either activates a special ability that affects your agents, the facility itself, or things that generally just make life harder in the game. There's also another thing that can happen with abnormalities if the Quiplov counter fully decreases, but we'll get into that. Besides special circumstances for particular abnormalities, the only way for Quiplov counters to decrease is from either normal or bad work results, or a Quiplov Meltdown. So those 2 downsides are why it's important to check and know your risks when working with abnormalities. You also get a penalty at the end of the day for lob points if there's a Quiplov Meltdown and you don't handle it, so I send Olive to work on 1 Sin and Hundreds of Good Deeds. 1 Sin and Hundreds of Good Deeds does not have a Quiplov counter due to it being a completely passive abnormality. However, I don't want to lose my lob points, so we just work with bro. Yeah, no, I'm fucking wrong. I just don't want them to be lonely. And after the last repression work with 1.76 MHz, we end the day. As our corporation is expanding, I decided to hire someone new to Lobotomy Corporation. While there is 5 slots for each team, I recommend having 2 really good members for each team rather than 5 bad ones, as you will get 3 active abnormalities and 1 tool abnormality. That's basically 2 people for free abnormalities, and that's not horrible. Anyways, besides that gameplay aspect, today was more of the same, just with Punishing Bird added to our repertoire of abnormalities. Punishing Bird functions differently than 1 Sin and Hundreds of Good Deeds and 1.76 MHz due to the fact it can quote-unquote breach. How breaching usually happens is when the Quiplov counter above an abnormality's containment unit fully reaches to 0. When this happens, you can send agents to suppress the abnormality. Now, Punishing Bird doesn't breach today, so I can't really show this off, but even if Punishing Bird did breach, do not ever suppress Punishing Bird! When abnormalities breach, you can send agents to suppress them, usually from every department if you have meta progression upgrades. And the fun thing is, similar to your agents, they have their own special resistances to all different types of damage. Meaning that despite belonging in the same department, and despite some agents working better alongside them, in case if there's a need of abno suppression, you might need to use a different agent entirely that's just overall more stronger. Then after an abnormality is suppressed, basically, they'll be on cooldown for like 10 seconds and then they'll just revive at their containment unit. So don't worry about killing abnormalities, unless if it's Punishing Bird. Day 4 starts with our new abnormality, the Heart of Aspiration. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. This is a tool abnormality, and the thing about tool abnormalities is they're usually fucking useless, basically. Not all of them, but typically they're just there to have quiplop meltdowns and reduce your total encaphalon gained, but they're not that much of a detriment as long as you don't use them. Because, like, don't get me wrong, Heart of Aspiration is a very good tool abnormality for the factor of what it provides. What might it provide it, you might ask? It provides your agent with 10 hit points and 10 increased attack speed. That sounds great! That could really help with suppressing abnormalities, you might say. Well, here's the thing. If you return the Heart of Aspiration without attacking anything, you go into a frenzy state where you kill all of your coworkers and everybody in sight. I mean, if you have them, like, dedicated as like an attacker, I guess this could work, but otherwise, yeah, no, I wouldn't chance it with this. You can actually see in this recording, the quiplop meltdown is on Heart of Aspiration, but I do fucking nothing about it. I don't even send anyone there. We have nothing we can suppress. Punishing Bird doesn't count, we'll literally fucking die. And the stat gains aren't that beneficial. Like, basically 10 to Fortitude and Justice is very good, don't get me wrong, but that's only when you have something to actually use it on. So, yeah, we took the hit for our encaphalon. It sucks, but, it's not that much. When playing this game, you have to make small sacrifices like this. You can't work with everything. And so work we did continue. We had some bad work on 1.76, so I sent Olive to work so we could raise that quiplop counter. Thankfully this day, nothing really notable happened. Oh fuck, oh fuck! Punishing Bird's running rampant. What the hell did we do? Oh my god, what the fuck did we do? Oh god, it's coming! What? Where is it going? Hey, weren't you supposed to... Oh. Yeah, so that's Punishing Bird's gimmick. It has a pretty high chance to break out if you work on different abnormalities other than it, but it will mostly do just like 1 to 2 damage every time it attacks you, and then it tires itself out and just goes straight to its containment unit. Due to the fact the main room of Lobotomy Corporation facilities usually have a regenerator that regenerates more health than damage it can deal, this bird is no problem at all despite being our first breaching abnormality. However, when it's breaching, if we try to suppress it, we'll die fucking immediately. So, Punishing Bird actually works as a kind of tutorial to show that abnormalities aren't one-to-one. Some abnormalities have special conditionals to suppress them or work around them. It's a simple concept, but opens your mind to different types of ways to deal with abnormalities rather than the same thing over and over again. Get the big strong guy to kill the big strong monster. That still exists in this game, do not get me wrong. However, it's a nice way to break the formula you expected and keep your mind open to different things. And that wraps it up. There's nothing else more notable at this day, so let's continue on. Contrary to the previous days, you do not actually pick an abnormality on day 5. This is due to each facility or department only having a max of 4 abnormalities. Besides some ego gear changes, this day proceeded as normal. So normal, in fact, we're gonna skip ahead to the next day. Day 6 begins with the next department unlocked, the Information Team. Olive gets promoted to the Information Team. Meanwhile, we hire a new hire to assist Gonzalez inside the Control Team. When we're done equipping everyone with ego gear we've previously unlocked, we start the day. Something you'll see above Open Can of Welchier's image is its threat level of Zion. The hierarchy of threat level goes as follows: Zion the weakness, Teth comes after, then he, then Vav, and then finally Aleph for the strongest. These threat levels apply to everything: your ego gear, ego weapons, and general enemies you'll be facing. But there's also the factor you get more enkephalon boxes from higher difficulty abnormalities. For example, while Open Can of Well Cheers and One Sin and Hundreds of Good Deeds might give 10, Punishing Bird gives 12 max enkephalon boxes. This means for more efficient enkephalon production, you have to actively work with more risky abnormalities. Anyways, the day proceeded without a hitch. You know the general gameplay loop we've been doing so far. Keep working with abnormalities, keep understanding them more, keep getting ego gear. The usual. What the fuck is that? Got used to the gameplay loop after 5 days? Fuck you, here's a wrench in your game plan. Welcome to Ordeals! When you reach a Quiplop Meltdown, Abno's having a Quiplop Meltdown isn't the only thing that can happen. Great, so no more forced work. No more lost enkephalon. But an ordeal will manifest where you have to deal with unavoidable enemies and manage your entire facility around suppressing them. Not Abnos, enemies. Just random fucking things. I don't know how to explain ordeals, I don't really know about them. Right now all we have is Dawn. However, ordeals are split into 4 different difficulties: Dawn, Noon, Dusk, and Midnight. These difficulties will create entities by the risk levels of Teth, He, Vav, and Aleph respectively for the different difficulty types. Enough talking about it, let's get into it. Yeah, Dawn of Green is like the easiest ordeal in the game. Speaking of ordeals, let's talk about the ordeals you can face at this point. Dawn of Green will spawn in 2 of these metal fuckers. This is kind of the most basic you can get with the Dawns, as they'll just walk around stabbing clerks and low-level employees. However, Dawn of Green does have a special ability where if it kills a clerk, it will stab it 5 extra times. Each time Dawn of Green does this, everyone in the room will take 3 SP damage for up to 15 SP damage total. Dawn of Violet will spawn in with a timer of 60 to 70 seconds, wherein then it will explode after and reduce Abnormalities' Quiplop counters to 0. Another factor is when it explodes, it deals 10 to 14 SP damage to everybody in the department. This one isn't hard to deal with, you just have to be on top of it. Next up is Crimson Dawn. This one pisses me off so much I don't even want to explain it. Just read it. Last but certainly not least is Dawn of Amber. In the early game of Lobotomy Corporation, this one gave me the most trouble, due to it spawning in groups of 5, and dealing damage very fast, and moving all around your facility, and fucking hurting you, and also maiming you, and torturing you, and also fucking ruining your run, and also making you reset the day. Not a big fan of them. Considering the most you'll have at day 6 is probably Zion or Teth gear, they make early game hell, because 5 of them spawn in each department! And they actively punish agents with slow attack speed. You know, all of your agents in early game. God, this one is fucking miserable. People have tried to sell this one to me, but like, I can't get it. Sometimes I'll be fucking late game and I will restart as soon as I see them. I don't care. As days go on, I'll highlight if we get more ordeals. For now, we continue on to... Day 7 begins with a look at our new Teth Abno, Crumbling Armor. As we don't know a lot about this Abno, I decide to hire a new hire, Brooke, who is a level 1 with 1 in all stats. Quickly equipping them with some ego gear, we then officially send them out on their first day to work with Crumbling Armor. Doing some repression work with Crumbling Armor, all stats at level 1, wink wink nudge nudge. Work officially begins after I send everybody on their way to work on their individual abnormalities to train their stats. Everything's going fine, struggling a little bit against Crumbling Armor, but that's to be expected as we have level 1 stats. Everything's fine. Everything's good. It all... Why did they die? An agent with level 1 fortitude was placed into Crumbling Armor's containment room. After the work process ended, they were found with their heads sliced clean off. Oh. Now, I know bringing this up goes against the whole shebang I said with don't worry about using the wiki, cater to your own experience how I like, but the experimentation factor in this game is fucking amazing. You're not going to know which work processes are the best for each abno. You're not going to know what the abno's conditionals are. Some abnos may just fucking kill you like crumbling armor if you have low enough fortitude. This shows that every abno needs a methodical approach to approach every angle to understand why they're like that. Managing encephalon growth, making sure agents don't die, managing all these types of things, on top of just not understanding what an abnormality does is, well, it's frustrating. A lot of abnormalities in this game's gimmicks are easy to understand early on. However, you don't have all the information necessarily available to you as soon as possible. It's one of the reasons why I tell people to use the wiki if they really need it, like I did, but in calling this factor of gameplay frustrating, I did not say it was unfair. There's only like 5 abnormalities in this game I would call strictly unfair. Now, I'm not going to say them because I want the comments to argue over them. I think experimentation works in this game. While there are risks you can better calculate in this game with the ordeals I've mentioned previously, factors you're not immediately able to calculate like crumbling armor or punishing bird insta-killing you depending on their conditionals kind of works in some haphazard way. 2 different things of calculated and uncalculated risks mesh well. This is due to the factor you can restart the day at any time. Reminder, when you press escape, it's literally the first option to retry the day. It is not save scumming, it is an intended game mechanic that is even noted in lore. Talking about experimentation, Olive received an ego gift for doing repression work with crumbling armor that gives them blue flames behind them, boosting their movement speed and attack speed. Pretty good all things considered. Anywho, their lowest stat currently right now is Temperance, so let's raise that with open can of well cheers. Well, fuck me! Whoa, meat, that is a pretty significant jump from when we last were. Well, dear viewer, nothing has really changed in the past 4 days outside of the standard gameplay loop I've been explaining already. We finally unlocked the safety team department though, so we drag over Olive to the safety team to work there, while also creating a new agent to assist Brooke in the information team. Starting off our new day, I have a new abnormality, Schadenfreude. At the time of recording this, I had no idea how this abnormality worked. All I heard from a friend is that the best work on them is repression. As Olive has a pretty high justice stat, I'm sure to be fine if I just keep an eye on them while they work on repression. Wait, why is everything coming out as negative when I'm watching it? When you feel an unrelenting gaze upon you even while you are alone, it is already too late. What does that mean? What, wait, no, oh god, I can't watch! Hey, where's the chainsaw sounds? Did it stop attacking? Let's just take a little... Okay, so, going by what we know so far, as long as we do not look at it, the chainsaws do not whir, and Olive doesn't take damage. For the simple fact that Olive is alive right now, and we haven't had the pop-up yet for Olive's death. As this abnormality is noted as being a keyhole, I immediately came to the conclusion, with everything I know about it, to stop looking at it. I waited, and waited, and waited, eventually remembering, oh yeah, I can speed up time. And I checked, yep, Olive's health is still the same, but the Abno's health is going down. So I'm gonna send more people there. Alright, let's go check again. Look, there's everyone beating it up. Just gotta wait a bit more. And eventually, I checked over and Schadenfreude was suppressed. While I didn't know the gimmick at first, I actually suppressed it completely perfectly. The little tooltip that appeared about the unrelenting gaze actually hinted at to how to handle this abnormality. Don't look at it. Alongside with the factor that peeping through keyholes is very frowned upon, being a major part of its design alongside multitude of cameras protruding from its body, I decided to continue repression work of Schadenfreude and not look at it. If it worked in the suppression, it might work for working with it. Yes, somehow, someway, we're still on about experimenting with abnormalities. This section hasn't ended yet. We do other work around our corporation while we wait, and pray that our work result with Schadenfreude is good. We look over, and lo and behold, it was a positive work result. So, yeah, just look away from it. As someone who likes to zoom out and look at their entire corporation, this does bother me. However, it's not the end of the world. For this stage of the game, Schadenfreude produces so much enkephalon boxes that they're more of a boon than a downside, even if it's to my own comfort. Well, this is it. The last day I want to cover in this video. Why is this day so important to me? Well, I want to sell you on an Abno. This Abno is one second. Okay, cool. Oh! Fuck, I'm still recording! The last Abno this video will be covering is Der Freischütz. Probably one of my favorite Abnos in the game. It has one of my favorite gimmicks in the game that makes it moreover a help to your corporation, rather than just a detriment that usually Abnos are. Its ego gear, while looking cool, also has a very beneficial effect that you will see later. Right out of the gate, when we start working with it, one thing you'll immediately notice is the request feature over the attachment work type. Trying to use the feature with no enkephalon produces nothing in results. We'll get into what it does later, don't you worry. A fun little thing I decided to do is, while Schadenfreude is off screen, their Freischütz would be on screen, and I would have the employees work at the same time on both of them, as they have the same max enkephalon boxes, and their work would be completed at the same time. Lo and behold, this strategy worked perfectly. Due to Abnos of higher risk levels providing more and more enkephalon for the day, I could actually produce enough enkephalon before the first ordeal. That is, if everything went right. I did not get enough enkephalon to end the day early, but that's alright. We sent an agent to work with 1.76 MHz. Meanwhile, I was excited to show you the gimmick of Der Freischütz. Remember that request gimmick I was talking about? Well, watch this. In an instant, 2 departments worth of ordeals have been instantly handled. Der Freischütz's main ability is firing a magic bullet from the left to right of the screen from where you point, dealing 80 dark damage. In an instant, this can wipe out most lower class ordeals, no matter what. It also comes with a caveat of piercing everything, including your employees. This Abno single-handedly trivialized early game for me, and I fucking adore it! I love it so much! All of these upsides for 10% of your quota for the day are just, it's just insane. I don't know what to say. Of course, Der Freischütz comes with the downside of if you use it about 7 times, the 7th one will be random. But if you're using 70% of your enkephalon reserves, like, what are you doing? And that's it. That's all I can say about LobCorp without getting in too much into spoiler territory. Everything I discussed in this video is just surface level to the true difficulty this game provides. I generally just wanted to get the gameplay loop down and talk about some Abnos I really appreciate. And I think I did a good job. I'm trying to be more experimental with the content I produce and trying to make it more high quality, so please let me know your feedback if there are things I can improve on, or if there are things you liked, anything. Also, if you want to show your support, please utilize the hype feature on mobile so this video gets out to more people. Thank you very much for watching. I was so glad I could share this game with you, because it's amazing. Have a good day, be good people.